Hi, I'm Sam and I'm an artist, and I help other artists to make some serious money doing what they love every single day. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a shift in mindset that has really made a difference in my everyday life, my business, in my personal life, just how I wake up in the morning, how I feel every day, and I want to share that with you. Now, this shift in mindset can be applied to absolutely anything in your life, but I'm going to be talking specifically about growing as an artist, improving your art, and then possibly turning it into a career that you love every day. This mindset shift is all about a change in perspective. And it's something that's kind of talked about a lot, and the more research I've done and the more I found out and the more I've worked with clients, it's really important that we think about how we react to something rather than what's going on in our lives. So it's how we feel about that situation. If it's something that we can't change, it's how we think about it going forward. So one of the main things that people say quite a lot to me, and I've seen it to other artists as well, is it's okay for you, you were born with a natural talent, or what a great talent you've got. Although I know a lot of the time this is said as a compliment, it's not said as something to offend, but I think the word talent actually kind of implies that you're just born with it and you don't really need to put any work in to make it better. But what you'll find is that a lot of artists, if you look back at their work when they were, a 5-year-old in school, it would be exactly the same standard as most of the other people in their class. What the difference is actually whether they enjoy it, so whether they kind of get some sense of endorphins running through their body when they create art, they like the feel of it, they like how they relax when they're doing it. Something about that art makes them feel good while they're doing it, and then you're more likely to do it more, in which case you are practicing and you are building your skills. So what you'll find is that it's not about that natural raw talent that you're born with, it's about having a liking for something and wanting to get better. And so putting time in and practicing is worth it for you because it makes you feel good. So what you'll find is when you look at your favorite artists is that they put hours and hours and years of hard work in to get to the level that they are. A lot of the time you watch these amazing reels where it says, this was me when I was however age and this is me now. It's really fascinating to see their journey and see where they started. And I think that's really encouraging. So the problem with social media is that we get an end result. People show their best work. They don't show the stuff that failed maybe, or that's gone a little bit wrong. They always show their best work. And so we don't see all of the behind the scenes. We just see the highlight reels. And it's so very easy to compare yourself to that, because you just think, well, sometimes is there any point in me actually trying, because I'm never going to get to that level. So again, it's all about perspective. You can either look at that piece of work and think, well, if I put the hard work in, if I put the time in, I can get there too. Anybody can learn to draw. Like with anything in life, it takes practice. This leads me on nicely to my second point, which is hard work and not giving up. Now, us creatives tend to be highly sensitive. I see it all the time. We beat ourselves up quite a lot. We can be possibly a little bit anxious or worried or self-critical or self-conscious. And there's also an element of perfectionism linked to those kind of characteristics. So we don't really like it if we're not very good at something. Now, that can be a really great driving force, because actually it makes you actually sit down and practice and work harder and improve your skills. At the beginning, it's being okay with not being very good at something, and that doesn't sit very well with a lot of creatives, because we do tend to beat ourselves up. We look at other people's work, as I said just now, and we just think it's okay for them, or I'm never going to be that good, so what's the point in trying? Whereas if you change your perspective, if you think about it in a different way, then if they can do it, why can't I? Just put the work in and I don't give up, then I'm going to get there too. Now, another change in mindset, which I think is really important, is actually making your art a priority. And that's something which is actually quite difficult to do, especially if you're growing a business and you've got lots of different things to do. You're wearing every single hat. You're an accountant, you're in charge of marketing, you end up turning into a content creator instead of an artist, and there's all of these things that you need to do behind the scenes. It's amazing how little a professional full-time artist actually draws or paints in their week. And I've noticed that I get to Wednesday or Thursday and I've done very little, if any, drawing or painting. And I knew that something really had to change. Something was very wrong there. And if you're not having the time to do something, it's because you're not making it a priority. It's not that you don't have time. We've all got the same amount of time in our day. We're just filling it up with something else. So is there something that you can do to actually plan to draw or paint? Now, even if art isn't your business and it's your hobby, you know that by doing your art, it's going to make you feel good. And making you feel good should be a priority in your life, because life is about feeling good most of the time, or doing the things that fill you up. And when you get into bed at the end of the day, you can look back and think, well, I've had a really nice day, even if there's some challenges there, which, you know, life does throw at us. What kind of things can we do to make ourselves feel better or feel really great, you know, feel joy in our lives? So it doesn't matter whether your art is your hobby or your business, you know that it fills you up, you know that it gives you joy, so it should be a priority. It shouldn't be a treat when you've got everything else done. Well, I might have a little bit of time to do some drawing once I've done this and this. So what I've done now is I've actually drawn up a weekly schedule, and I have put blocked in time to actually draw. And this is working really well because it's something to look forward to. I plan in all of the other things that I need to get done, and I know that I've got time put aside for my art. So I know personally that as a professional artist, this is my full-time job, that I need to work because it's content for YouTube, it's content for my other social media channels. But not just that, it actually is really important for my mental health, my well-being, and also getting better. So practicing, it's important that we keep growing and that we've got time to practice our work. Otherwise you just end up plateauing and stuck in this kind of level of similar skill. You don't feel like you're improving, and that's not good for your well-being, your mental health. You know it's important to keep growing, and it's important to have that sense of achievement at the end of the day. My next tip for improving your art and shifting your mindset is to look at your work objectively. We're very self-critical as artists. We seem to, because you've been concentrating on something for so long, you can look at a piece and see all of the things that have gone wrong. You know, I could work on that better, that's looking a little bit too dark, that needs more layering. You could go on forever, but what I tend to do is try to think about my work objectively and not so emotionally. So instead of looking at the piece as a whole and thinking it's not good enough, I don't like it, I think what one or two things could be improved on this piece? What do I need to work on and practice in order to get better at doing whatever it is? So for me, most of the time, it's not rushing and making sure that I take the time to layer and blend. I know that if I don't do enough layers, it's not going to have the finish that I want. And we're impatient beings who might have something else going on, which is why the change of perspective is so important, because we need to be concentrating on what we're doing right then. Our art is important, it makes us feel good, but if we're rushing through it to see what's next, it's not going to make us feel good. It's almost like we're missing out on doing the thing that we love. We're not really getting the joy from it that we should be. So looking at your work objectively, noticing one thing and thinking, what can I do to improve that? Maybe I'm going to slow down, maybe I'm going to take my time on this, and you can guarantee that one, you're going to enjoy it so much more, and two, you're going to be happier with the finished piece because you've taken that time to really look at it and see how you can grow your skills or improve on one objection on that piece. And if there is a gap in your skills, what can you do about improving that? Can you have a look on YouTube? Can you find a tutor? Can you follow some tutorials and just pick up some tips about how you can improve on that? The best way to do it is to, learn from other people and then apply those skills as well. There's no point in just watching the videos and not actually doing it. A combination of both is really important. So just being more objective and looking at it from a less emotional way, in a much more positive way, how can I improve, as opposed to what's wrong with this piece. Now, mindset is something that needs to be worked on daily. It's definitely not a destination, it's a journey. So once we've figured these things out, or we've had these light bulb moments, we need to keep being reminded of it, and sometimes we need a little bit of support along the way as well. So I think finding inspiration is really important, finding people that you can connect with and that you feel that get you on an artistic level. Social media is fantastic for that, but also maybe joining a local art group. There's loads of things online. I myself have an online membership where I help people to improve their skills, and we're building up a lovely community. The Joy of Drawing, I will put that link in the description. But I think it's really important to have that support both in your work and in your mindset to keep keep you feeling okay and to keep reminding you of these little shifts in perspective that change the way that your day turns out and therefore your life. We've only got the moment that we're living in now, so how can we make that better? How can we look at this thing in a more positive way so then it leads on to a much more positive outlook in your life going forward? Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time on my channel today and for joining me. I hope you found some of those tips helpful and you can start applying them to your day. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. And I really look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.